Hello everyone, welcome to a new video. Welcome if you are new here. Hello, my name is Roxanne, also known as Bye Bun. I'm a mixed media artist, illustrator, and maker of things. In today's video, we are going to be starting a new sketchbook. And I know what you're thinking. What? Another new sketchbook? But hear me out. I just finished the last Moleskine art collection sketchbook that I had in this size. I always have one going in this size, and I just finished it. And as though that's not exciting enough, I finished it with 2 mixed media spreads as samples as part of an upcoming new online class I am working on. So stay tuned for that. It's very, very exciting. So yeah, I can't even tour that sketchbook yet because I want to get the online class out first before I then do a tour, like a flip through tour of everything. So stay tuned. That tour is coming soon. But as you might have seen in I don't know if it was in a previous sketchbook tour or maybe it was in my lineup video, probably my 2025 lineup video. I'll put a link to that down below. You would have seen that a number of my sketchbooks are really close to being finished. You would have also already seen a couple of sketchbook tours that I've already put up on the channel here. I'll put those down below for you as well. But I'm in a transition year of sketchbooks. I'm always working in more than one at a time. I always have several going at once. And it just so happens that whenever I started a bunch of these, which was in 2022, I happen to be finishing them all this year. So I'm in a cycle of new sketchbooks. So this is not a normal situation for me. We won't be experiencing this for another couple years when I now finish the whole new batch of sketchbooks that I've started, because I have this sketchbook here. I also purchased the larger size hardcover Moleskine art collection sketchbook. I always have a big one, which is like the A4 size, which you guys would have already seen a tour of that here on the channel. So again, I got a new one to replace that one. And then I always have a little one as well. The reason why I like these sketchbooks is because they're really great for mixed media stuff, because there are times where I still have an itch to do some, what the heck was that? Oh my goodness, something just fell in the closet behind me and it nearly scared me to death. Anywho, nothing like a jump scare mid voiceover. Anyways, I like having these sketchbooks in the rotation because I'm able to do mixed media art journaling stuff. There are times where I have an itch to do some mixed media stuff, which you're seeing me kind of do there. So I'm starting this puppy with just putting a bunch of random paper in. I glue the awkward pages at the front and the back of it. I also happen to be working on another video at the same time that I was doing this one. This one is actually a bit unplanned. And you're watching this probably thinking, girl, that is a Q-tip. Why are you painting with a Q-tip? What is going on? I flashed you there my little Wreck This Journal book that actually I started a while ago. And it's a series that I've been doing over on Patreon because myself and a number of my patrons have started working in one of those Wreck This Journal books. And this correlated to one of the prompts. It was dip something in paint and throw it at a little target. So I did it with Q-tips. And rather than wasting my paint, I decided to use my leftover stuff in this sketchbook here. So that's kind of a good little tip for just breaking in a new sketchbook. I have a lot of tips as far as breaking in new sketchbooks go, but this is a great one of just using leftover media. In these Moleskine sketchbooks in particular, there are certain spreads where I really like the way the signature, the seam of the signature lays. And I tend to sort of save those for mixed media stuff like this because it lays really, really flat, which is one of my big criteria when it comes to mixed media art journaling stuff. My book has to be able to lay nice and flat. And thankfully, these Moleskines do just that. I'm a big fan of these. I have also the soft cover notebook ones, but I use that for more project planning and really loose sketching. That's not to say that doesn't happen in this, but these ones end up being a real mix mash of stuff. One page will be swatches and really random sketches, and then the next page will be a full-blown art journal spread. It's really kind of all over the place. And I kind of like that about them, that they just end up getting really chunky, and some pages are really thick. Some have nothing in them. I add extra stuff in, paper, whatever, and they can always withstand, that was the word I was looking for. They can always withstand all of the extra media, which is really great. On this spread here, I was putting in some random little paper. Again, this is paper that I was using in my Wreck This journal, and I had 2 little leftover chunks, so I threw it in here. And then just was kind of like in the mood to sketch something and just kind of be loose with it. I feel like this spread here really encompasses a lot of like my go-to mindless sketchbooking style, where like there's a little bit of paper that I've stuck down from some random thing, and then I've drawn these big florals on top of it. Big florals within like a weird pattern, and then some weird sort of like little abstract thing. This is like my doodle brain. So this is me just breaking in this sketchbook. I'm not referencing anything. I'm just doodling from my brain. And here's where it sort of ends up. That is another really great way to start a new sketchbook, is just do some mindless stuff, because so much of starting a new sketchbook is breaking that blank page, right? And the first page of your sketchbook and whatever it is. So sometimes just sticking in random pieces of paper and allowing yourself to have some unfinished things, right? You don't need to have like the first page of your sketchbook be some amazing, completed illustration or whatever. It can just be some random leftover paint that you just chuck in there that maybe later you come back to and draw on top of, or do a bunch of stuff with, or add more things into it. Like, who knows, right? I think another great way of starting a sketchbook too is doing stuff like this, where maybe this looks different for you, but for me it's just mindless stuff where I'm not referencing anything. I'm using my favorite materials. I've got my favorite red and blue pencil, which you guys know is like one of my big defaults. And then I'm just doing big like swatches of watercolor into negative space and kind of all over the place. And you'll see even with this, is this spread finished? No, nothing in this video is finished by any means. I'm just simply getting some media into it, getting the ball rolling. And what happens with that is that it becomes an invitation, right? So that the next time I sit down and I take out this sketchbook, I don't necessarily have to go to a blank page or a blank spread. I can simply come back to some of these things that I've already started, and there is that invitation to play of like, ooh, I have these weird pansies with these giant leaves that I didn't finish coloring in. Let me just grab a paint marker and chuck this in here. And then that snowballs into other ideas that then I start to branch out into more pages. And that's how you really get into that like creative sketchbook flow that is so fun, right? Let's see, is there anything else to really note on this? No, but I will say it is a lot of fun starting these new sketchbooks. It is a lot of fun. Even the big moleskin I have started. I don't think I have filmed that. I have filmed little snippets of it for Patreon, for like a future Patreon video, but it is just so fun starting all these new ones. And it's fun starting them all kind of like at the same time. It feels like such a fun, like fresh start. And I'm excited to show you guys the completed one of these that I already have done, before this one. So stay tuned for that. Dante is snoring. I don't know if you can hear that in the background. But anywho, yeah, this was kind of a bit of an impromptu video. I didn't really plan on filming this, but I thought, you know what, let me just throw the camera on and give it a whirl. And here we are. This last little spread here is just me throwing down some random watercolor. I just really liked these combinations of colors. So I just kind of did a wet on wet technique, throwing some water down and some big watercolor splotches on top. And again, it's that invitation to play, to come back and draw more on top of it. I think that's about it for this video, really. So I'm going to wrap things up here. Of course, if you're looking for more creative content or videos, subscribe while you're here. I put out 2 new videos every week. Like this video if you liked it. Of course, there's tons more stuff over on Patreon. I have my monthly sketchbook club videos. We are on like year 3 or 4 of doing that. I have 2 seasons of it. So there's tons of videos over there. And then, of course, I have my sketchbook summer class. If you want to watch me fill an entire sketchbook from cover to cover, that is over in my Etsy shop. And I will put links to everything down below for you guys. Stay tuned. I've got lots of fun new videos in the works, including that sketchbook tour that I've talked about a lot at this point. But thank you for watching. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.